But yeah, so I going back to photography. I ended up going to school for photography. Went to New Mexico State University, and I pursued a degree in fine art. And that was a pretty formative experience. It just kind of changed the way how I thought about images and art, and just kind of my role as a creator in the world. And our program was I feel like it was pretty like conceptual based. So it was like anybody could make an image, anybody could paint a picture, but it's like, what are you trying to say with it? You know what I mean? And I feel like that really further ingrained the importance of having a message and having, something that you're striving for, and being able to connect with other people through your artwork. So yeah, I went through school. I did photography, and at the end of your degree in fine arts, you have to do like a thesis project. And my thesis project was called Ascendancy of Perception. And a lot of these images were very much influenced by a contemporary photographer. His name is Hank Willis Thomas. And he has these they're almost like commercial-esque kind of images, like images you would see like in an advertisement or something, but with very like loaded, messagings around being Black and the Black experience and the commodification of culture and things like that. So he was a big influence on me stylistically. But my project was essentially about how our media consumption habits influence the world around, how we see the world around us.
Yeah.
So like we always hear, you are what you eat.
Yeah.
I think that could be taken further to your media diet. And I'll credit Saul Williams for terming like media diet. That's where I heard it from. But basically like what you read, what you watch, the music you listen to, it all kind of plays an influence on how you see the world around you. And thinking about it from like two different perspectives, right? Like if you're like a kid like growing up in the city, and similar to me, if like your main outlet for like entertainment is music, and you're only listening to like what's on the radio, you're gonna get a vastly different message than what you'll find like on the internet. And I feel like when you listen to the radio, there's a very clear disparity between super positive messaging and not so positive messaging. Mm-hmm. And not saying one doesn't have a place, but it's very clear that there's a lack of balance, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're a kid like growing up just listening to what's on the radio and stuff like that, and you're striving to be like a rapper, and all this rapper's talking about is like money, drugs, and like women, naturally you're gonna align with that. Mm-hmm. Versus like an artist who is like talking about knowledge itself and like the importance of giving back to your community and starting your own business and like empowering stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good stuff.
Exactly. And again, like everybody's telling their own story, and like I'm not saying like some stories are more valuable than others, but again, there is a severe lack of balance in the ecosystem. So if you're a kid, you're growing up, it's like, oh, this is what I need to do in order to make it. But in reality, like it's not that black and white. And then on the flip side, right, if you're looking at the world to a television screen, and this is kind of going back to our conversation, if you're looking at the world to a television screen, you're going to have a very limited perspective on how the world actually is. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be in regards to like your political views. That's going to be in regards to how you see race and like everything. So the project was essentially about that, and it was a lot of studio portraiture with like practical effects and things like that. So in that project, I'm about to finish up school, trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. And I always had this love for music, and like inside of me, there was this urge to rap, but I just didn't. I was waiting for permission. I was waiting for somebody to give me permission.
First step.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I did this poem. It was called Live from the USA. and it was a video loop of me doing this poem, kind of just encompassing everything in the thesis. And yeah, this is my first time like ever like showing any like poetry or anything like this, and I had like overwhelming like positive feedback on it. And from there I was like, yeah, poetry's super dope.